Welcome to the Creator Spotlight, the interview portion of the Spotlight here on Fightful. I am Steven Jensen, joined as always by Jeremy Lambert, and our guest today is a professional wrestler that I've been wanting to have on the show for quite a while now. He's coming off of a big match, one of my favorite matches of the year, actually, that we're going to talk about at Texas Wrestling Cartel against Bryan Keith. We are joined by Aaron Mercer. Aaron, how are you? And thank you very much for joining us.
I'm great. You actually watched that whole match? That was like an hour long.
I watched the whole thing. It was a great match, great story. We're going to talk a lot about that. And a great speech at the end of the match too, and everything. So a lot going on with you right now. I know you're taking some time off with injury and stuff, but I guess just to jump right into it, I did want to talk to you right away about that Bryan Keith match, because I know you've wrestled him quite a few times. You got some history with the guy, and the most recent match between y'all was for Texas Wrestling Cartel, and it was about an hour long. It involved Legos. It involved callbacks to other wrestlers I wanted to ask about. It involved a bunch of weapons. It was a great match, and the fans were very much into it. What was that experience like against Bryan Keith in essentially like an hour long kind of like death match out there?
So originally, like, my plan was for BK to be my last match no matter what, before I took time off. And so once we got this scheduled, I pretty much canceled all my other bookings that I had. I had a decent amount finishing out the year, but this was going to be the last one. So and originally it was just supposed to be a normal match, but the promoter was like, "Hey, do you want to use weapons?" And me being me, I was like, yes, of course. And BK didn't even know until he got to the show. I was like, "Hey, we're gonna have a hardcore match." He was like, "What?" And it wasn't supposed to get that extreme, but yeah, there was Legos, tacks. There was a crutch table spot, which was a callback to our steel cage match. I love doing stuff like that, little callbacks. There was some tables. I finally hit my first swanton after missing 40 in a row or whatever. Got power bombed onto the floor through a table that didn't do anything. Yeah, it was fun. I apologized to the promoter during the match and after the match, because that's a very nice venue and we destroyed it. I think I bled on the floor. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was one of those things where like I would also, I guess, really classify it more as like a hardcore match, but it did get pretty violent. Like and I don't know if the crowd was expecting it or not, but like they were very into it. Like, and I was into it while I was watching it. You mentioned the swanton. I was going to ask you about that. Like you went up a ladder. You basically called out for Jeff Hardy, and then you hit it. I mean, so obviously, how did that feel to hit that? I know you said you tried a whole bunch of times, and then also just I guess thoughts on Jeff Hardy, like as a fan, because obviously that's like a tribute to him if you're doing moves like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always considered the swanton my Ric Flair top rope bump, if you will. He goes up top every time and never hits it. So that's been kind of my thing. Like, I've attempted it legit maybe like 30 something times and I've never hit it. And I was like, well, if this is going to be my last match, I have to hit it. So, yeah, luckily I did. So, I've always liked Jeff Hardy. I mean, he's not like a favorite wrestler of mine, but he's always been a super cool, does the little,
Yeah, for sure.
But there was I don't know if you saw the package pile driver on the chairs.
Yep.
That was a shout out to Kevin Steen, of course. I'm a huge Ring of Honor mark. So anytime I also did the little Samoa Joe walk away.
Yep. Did a Bray Wyatt tribute. You hit Sister Abigail and did like the upside down whatever you call that, like upside down spider
he did,
walk thing.
BK did the Undertaker sit up, and I hit the Bray Wyatt. Yeah. I had to do that too. That was pretty fresh. That was like a couple weeks later. So I mean, I had to get that in there. He's been one of my favorite like characters ever. So
sure. There was an attitude adjustment, if you want to call it that, on the referee into the Legos. That was unexpected.
No, that was in the thumbtacks.
Oh, it was.
Yeah,
well, actually, I guess it was kind of a little bit of everything at that point.
Yeah, 100%. It was just a bunch of stuff in the center of the ring. Yeah, BK poked me in the eye. I thought he was right next to me. I scooped and went for it. Whoops, it was the ref. Oh well.
That was awesome. With the Legos, I've seen those implemented in wrestling occasionally, and it's some people might see that and think it's kind of funny, but like everyone at one point in their life has like stepped on a Lego, and like the pain in that. If you want to speak at all on just like the legitimacy of using Legos in like hardcore like wrestling.
I mean, you said it. If you ever step on a Lego, just imagine that like 50 times in your back. Like, plus you're getting forcefully slammed on it. You're not just like, oh, a little step on it. Yeah, I would say they hurt just as much as thumbtacks. They're pretty painful, especially if you're jumping from 8 feet in the air or whatever and landing on them. That was another callback too. Me and PCO had a match and we used Legos and he choke slammed me on them, and so that was another callback. I love doing callbacks.
That was yeah, I mean there was a lot of callbacks in that match. I really enjoyed it. And then like after the match, you give the speech and basically tell the fans that you're going to be going away, take some time off for injury. And there was some stuff that happened after the match as well, where you got some more into sent the fans home happy. But I mean, it was a very emotional speech, man. Like as a fan, just like watching it, I was I'm really like rooting for you to come back. I don't know if you can kind of speak to kind of like the road to recovery and kind of the injury and kind of like where things are at right now with your time off.
So in my left knee, for sure, it's a torn ACL meniscus. I know that because 4 years ago I tore my ACL, MCL, and meniscus, and then the MCL heals on its own depending on certain things. But so that healed, and then I was set to get surgery on my ACL and meniscus, and then COVID hit. So they pushed elective surgeries back and back and back, and eventually it got far enough away where I was just I'm gonna rehab and just come back. And so I've been wrestling on that for the past 3 years. And then my right one was the same thing, ACL meniscus. When I was 19, I was playing basketball in college and came home for the summer and blew it out. And so they fixed that one. And when I went to go get my left one looked at, they were like, your right one's loose, so it's probably going to go at any time. So I was like, oh, that's great. And wouldn't you know it, I was playing in a basketball tournament or league or whatever at the beginning of the year, and I felt it pop. It didn't buckle like most knee injuries do, but I felt it pop. So I haven't got it looked at yet. I'm hoping it's just something minor, like just meniscus or something, because it doesn't act like my other one. But yeah, in January I'm gonna get new MRIs and all that. And one of my buddy's girlfriend is a doctor, so she was like, "You're gonna have to get each one done individually." So depending on what's wrong with my right one will determine how long I'm going to be out, because the left one is going to be 6 to 9 months for sure. So I don't know, we'll see.
I have a lot of questions about the Bryan Keith match now, but then also on the knee surgeries that are coming up, or the knee, whatever you're gonna have to go through with those. But real quickly, going back to the Bryan Keith match, when you find out that it's a hardcore match, like basically when he gets to the venue, how much planning has to go into it of, or just calling it on the fly? Because you have probably one match in mind. Oh, hey, it's a hardcore match. Now we got to do a totally different match. And you mentioned all the callback tribute spots in there, but how much planning like went into it before you actually stepped into the ring?
None. I didn't have any idea of what I wanted to do beforehand. And then, I mean, I knew it was a hardcore match weeks before. He didn't find out until he got there because I wanted to surprise him. And I don't want to pull back the curtain too far, but BK sometimes shows up not so early. So yeah, he got there on his time, and So we honestly didn't call that much. There was just like a few things where I was like, hey, let's do this. I want to do a callback to that. And everything else was we just kind of played around, which I've learned how to do very well in recent matches with, nipple stuff. If you've watched Colt Cabana or Dalton Castle, kind of just let the fans do their thing and you just, improv.
I respect that so much doesn't get called in the ring nowadays. There is so much planning.
Again, not to pull the curtain back, but whatever. I hate calling stuff. My memory sucks, I guess. So if too much is called, I'll forget something, and I feel like that takes away from you being a character, you interacting with the fans because you're focused on what's next. So I would like to not call almost anything and just go out there and kind of be in the moment,
For sure. Jensen, do you have any follow up on that before I move on to the knee?
Yeah. So for you had mentioned after the match with Keith, this is really more so for anybody who maybe hasn't seen the speech or anything since then. Like you mentioned that, he's, especially with all his popularity at the moment, you're like, he really could be doing anything tonight. Like he could be anywhere wrestling anyone for any company. He has all these offers, but he decided to come and wrestle me. And I just wanted to know, like, just kind of your thoughts on Bryan Keith, just in general, like as a person, and then also as a wrestler and all the success he's getting right now. And then what it meant to you that he did choose to take that match with you when he did probably have other options he could have taken that night.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everybody that's met him kind of says the same thing. Like he's super cool, which is a very much reality. Like he's one of the coolest dudes there is. Like he just has that aura about him. And you've seen. Did you see the video he did with Bryan?
Yeah, incredible today that he put out on
the fact that he's able to do stuff like that with arguably the greatest wrestler ever just speaks to how great he's doing. Like I feel like we wrestled for the first time like 2.5 years ago, and like right after that he started blowing up and he just started going everywhere, freelance, all the promotions, and now he's starting to be on AEW. And I'm telling you, the second he gets his full entrance, it's over. Like he's gonna be the most over dude on the roster. So I don't know. That night he literally could have been doing anything. And the fact that he chose to be there to wrestle me of all people is cool, but also to do a quasi death match on the fly. Like I told him in the ring after, like, you didn't have to do that. Like I appreciate it more than you'll ever know. I wish I could do something to pay him back, but whatever.
Hey, well, somebody that didn't pay you for something that actually stole from you. I don't know if you know about this or not, Aaron. And this is actually going to be hard for me to even admit on this show. A lot of people know I'm a very, very big fan of the person I'm about to be talking about here in just a second. So,
oh God.
Okay, so
I don't know where this is going.
No, Jeremy has literally no idea where this is going. So, my favorite wrestler of all time is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and he stole from you. I don't know if you know this or not.
The sign stuff?
No. So
because I started telling people to bring signs to shows like a year ago, and it started happening in Texas, and then he started tweeting about it like a couple months ago. I'm like, what are we doing here?
Hey, possibly double thief. It's very possible that also I'm with you there. I believe that 100%. What I'm referring to is actually, so your second match with Bryan Keith at New Texas. The finish of the match was you having Bryan in a Kimura and him stack pinning you. Yeah. It's the exact finish they used
with Brock
in the first Brock and Cody match. The exact finish. And I saw and I noticed it when it happened.
Dude, I watched that live and it didn't even click for me. So props to you for noticing that. Yeah. What the hell, Cody? I helped him with his AEW signing one time. Like his line was all long. I was like, come on, man. No, he's cool. He's like one of the nicest wrestlers I've met. He's really cool.
That's cool. That's good to know. Like
he can steal anything.
But I just want to throw that out there. People will like that. I call Cody out on that, but I thought it was funny because I noticed that and I was like, that's that finish, because I'm a very big like MMA fan and stuff like that. So I really take notice when people implement that, especially into finishes, especially into like really realistic finishes, like the idea of somebody holding onto a submission hold and the opponent just stack pinning them like a amateur wrestling move. And I don't know. So it definitely stuck out to me. So there you go. You added even more to Brock versus Cody there.
I'm glad I could help.
Yeah.
They definitely need it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's another thing I like about you, by the way. I like that even when like you're giving like an emotional speech, you're like, I'm nobody. Like nobody should even care about what I'm saying right now.
I'm very self-deprecating.
Okay,
so there was a fan in the crowd and she was like, stop saying that about yourself. I'm like, okay, like I don't hate myself. I'm just self-deprecating. Like it's okay.
I respect that. So I respect that so much. Very relatable. Do you think Bryan Keith took the match and was willing to go an hour hardcore match because you look a little bit like Bryan Danielson? And he's like, you know what? I'm just going to beat up this dude like he's Bryan Danielson.
There was a couple people that messaged me afterwards and they were like, they sent me a picture of Bryan's hair and they were like, he stole your hair. Cause I had the braids and I was like, no, I stole it from him. No, it didn't even feel like that. Well, I mean, it was technically only like 30 something minutes because entrances at the beginning and then some playful stuff and then the back half or whatever. So really we only wrestled for like 37 or something like that, but we were out there for, an hour. I don't know. I think BK just likes a challenge, loves to go. I'm the same way. And it didn't feel that long. I guess whenever you're having fun and getting beat up, it kind of flies by.
That's a wild way to have fun, by the way. Bleeding all over the place with Legos and tacks stuck in you.
Yeah,
you guys are nuts. But it's very entertaining. As a fan, I very much appreciate it. I mean, like I said, it was legitimately one of my favorite matches of this like whole year so far. I really, really enjoyed it. So
thank you.
I'm glad you sent it to me. Like, or I don't know if you tagged me. I think you tagged me something. Yeah. And I am a big Bryan Keith guy. It's funny that you caught. I mean, I tweet about the guy, so like I thought it was great that you sent that over, and I was like, because Bryan Keith's blowing up right now also, and I was like, dude, we got to get you on the show. This is perfect timing for this. So,
I had to take advantage of his popularity,
No, you've been on radar for quite a while. I've followed you for quite a while. I mean, yeah. So anyway, go ahead, Jeremy.
Jensen knows everybody and everything about the indie scene, and that's why I appreciate him as a co-host. When it comes to the knee, how are you kind of, I guess, one, how did you wrestle on it for that long and just like, yeah, sure, I'm just going to go out and do these matches. It'll be fine. If something happens, then something happens. And then two, like, how are you kind of mentally preparing for this break?
So at the last show, Mike Bennett and Taven were there. And even they were saying afterward, like I told Taven, he was like, dude, you've been wrestling that long with no ACL? And I'm like, yeah, it's whatever. So even they were freaking out. But I think I have a very high pain tolerance, as evidenced by the deathmatch stuff. But I think blowing my knee out so early in my life when I was 19, I didn't get surgery on that right away either. I continued to play basketball on it for a year and a half. I would just like triple brace it when I would go play, and then sometimes it would buckle, sometimes not. So whenever I was wrestling on it, I was like, in wrestling you can control your movements a lot more than basketball, so I can kind of dictate what I do to prevent my knee from buckling. And it still buckled every now and then. I think my third match back it buckled, but it was just like a slight one. It was probably under 10 times out of the past 3 years that it buckled in matches, which I would say is pretty good. I didn't wear a brace or anything. Just if it happened, I would just kind of take a second and just continue on. It kind of takes your breath away, but I mean, it's wrestling, so you could be like, ouch, my knee, you know, and then you play off of that. But as for like the mental part, like I've already been through this. I'm so ready to get it done, because like I said in the promo, if I can wrestle, you know, injured at this level, which debatable if it's good or not, but it's better than most on this level. So in, you know, local Texas wrestling, if I can do it injured, like imagine what I could do healthy. I was purposefully limiting my bookings and what I do in the ring because of that. So if I'm healthy, I'm going balls to the wall, and I'm gonna see, you know, what kind of noise I can make. So I'm just ready to get it done, honestly.
So,
It helps that it's sorry, Jensen. It helps that it's basketball season. You just watch basketball all day
Yes.
and night to, you know, help get you through these
Yep.
times. Go ahead, Jensen.
no, for sure.
I was gonna say this is the best time of year. You got basketball, football, hockey, all at the same time. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I'll never be bored.
Yeah, influencer boxing fights we'll talk about in a second. There was a follow-up I had about that. Now I'm thinking about the influencer boxing fights. Sorry. Now we'll
Knee
the
stuff.
knee injury.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So what I was going to talk about is I was just actually listening to Dan Henderson on Joe Rogan today, and he was talking about how he had like his knee blew completely out. This was back in like the early 2000s, and he went and got the surgery done, like complete like reconstruction. I think on like pretty much like everything. And he said like 2 weeks later he was out hunting, which I know when me and you were talking, you were busy hunting, kind of paralleling this story here. But Dan Henderson was 2 weeks out from surgery. He was out hunting, got a call from Pride FC, and Pride said, hey, we need somebody short notice to come over here. I believe he got the call to fight Murillo Bustamante, and he wound up hitting him in the head and knocking him out like with that knee that he had just got reconstructed. So I mean, if Dan Henderson can go out there and do that, I feel like, I mean, you're going to come back better than ever. You know what I mean?
I hope so. That's the plan.
Do you have any like favorite MMA fighters now that I'm like thinking about Dan Henderson and like and all that stuff? Because I know you're a big fan, obviously. So
I feel like it's such a casual pick, but I'm so big on Sugar Sean right now. He's so entertaining. He's so good. I feel like a lot of people were kind of underrating him, but his striking is just, it's top tier. I was always like a big Connor guy, but lately he's kind of, you know,
He doesn't fight anymore at this point.
That too. I was always a Chael Sonnen dude, just because he talks and he talks well. Also, you know, he never lost a round.
Yeah,
undefeated, undisputed.
I mean, people, all the casuals don't understand that like the way that a fight works is if you tap out in like during one round, you just lose that round.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't lose the fight.
Yeah. So Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen won. Like, I mean, Anderson lost almost that entire fight. So I get it.
Chael's never lost a round. The Diaz brothers have also never lost. They've just run out of time. They've never actually lost a fight. They've just run out of time.
Very fair.
Yeah, it's always been guys like that, like kind of showy guys, like, you know, even Masvidal recently. I was, you know, into him because, you know, sends people to the shadow realm. That's cool. 3-piece in a soda, 2-piece in a soda, whatever. Yeah, just guys like that I've always been into, just people that can talk and back it up.
Yeah, I'm a fan of everyone you mentioned. What else are you doing in your time off? You mentioned like when we were talking that you've been doing some hunting.
I technically wasn't hunting. For my job, I take care of somebody that has muscle dystrophy, so he can't really do anything, so we have to do it for him. And I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so whenever we go out to the ranch to have him hunt, I have to go with them. I'm not a huge hunter, but like it's part of my job. I have to go with them. Sure. So it's just kind of cool to go out in the middle of nowhere and enjoy being away from everything. But but yeah, I've only shot one deer in my life, and that was a few months ago.
Sure.
So.
I'm actually not a big hunter myself. Like my dad's always been into it. It's never really been for me. I actually don't really eat meat that much, actually, even. But like I respect people. Like it's like people get really into it. I know there's people who love just being outside and that kind of stuff. Well,
Yeah.
so that aside, I guess I got the wrong idea because I thought that's what you were doing last week. But what else are you doing in your time off outside of like that and watching basketball and sports and stuff?
Losing a lot of money on sports gambling.
Yeah, same.
Doing that.
Let's go. Okay.
Lost about $500 this past weekend.
Do you mind telling us on what?
It's been a lot of hockey.
It's
I follow a bunch of people on Twitter, and I'm like, oh, they know what they're talking about. So I'll be like, oh, shots on goal over 2.5. Okay, let me put $100 on that. Nope. So that it's gonna. I got some bets riding tonight. I got like Chris Paul over 7.5 assists.
Oh, it might be okay. Might be okay.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in him on the Warriors.
We'll see. And then of course a lot of football stuff. Outside of that, God, not much. Just playing video game. I play like Madden, maybe 2K every now and then, but I don't have a lot going on right now. I really don't.
I want to bring it back to wrestling a little bit, but I do. We could talk sports all day, honestly. How did you get started in this world of professional wrestling, though?
I've told this story so many times. I was playing semi-professional basketball in the ABA, and our PA announcer said we got talking about the Royal Rumble when AJ Styles debuted, and he mentioned that he ran a school or whatever. I was like, oh, that's cool. I've always wanted to get into wrestling. I just didn't know how. And so after I was done playing basketball, I hit him up and I was like, hey, can we get started on this wrestling thing? And he was like, sure, just meet me at this place and we'll get going. And so I met him at some sketchy facility here in San Antonio and was with him for a couple weeks. And then he got me over to the Hybrid School of Wrestling. And I spent a year and a half there, I think. And then, yeah, that was pretty much it.
Who all were the trainers at the time that you were at the Hybrid School of Wrestling? Because I know that like a handful of people, like I know Ricardo Rodriguez, Funaki, Rodney Mack, those kind of guys from there.
It's I was there not when they first started, but whenever it was like the second building. It was still a smaller building, so it was just Marvel and
Chris Marvel.
Yeah, Chris Marvel and one of the consider him like a strength and conditioning coach. His name's Mark. It was just them really, and then Ricardo came in, and he was there for a little bit, and then we ended up moving to the building that they're currently at, and then Funaki came in, which I mean Funaki was kind of always around anyways because he lives in San Antonio and he had his dojo here, and then Rodney came along, and then I think I left shortly after they came in. Yeah, so I mean I learned some stuff from both Rodney and Funaki.
I was gonna ask you like specifically what you had learned from Funaki. I'm like super interested in
He teaches some really cool like shoot style wrestling stuff. Obviously he teaches everything, but he I think he's with the advanced group or whatever now. But yeah, like some of the stuff that he would show me and some of the other like upper whatever kids was like some cool shoot style stuff and just like some technique stuff, and he's criminally underrated all time. Like he knows what he's doing.
I was always a big Tai fan. Him and Takuma Chinoku both. I was a big fan of growing up. It's big time. I'll never forget. Like I don't know if it like holds up well or not nowadays, but I always thought it was so funny when they would do like the mouth wouldn't match the words with the indeed, like those corny movies where it wouldn't sync right. Yeah. That's still like memorable to me. Like it worked. I'm still talking about in 2023. I mean,
yeah. Also, he would always show up to training in Packers gear, like just dripped out in Green Bay Packers gear. Big Aaron Rodgers fan. He always said he could walk on as a third string quarterback.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a big Vikings guy over here, but I respect being an NFL fan.
I think he was just a Rodgers fan because I heard that he got rid of his Packers stuff and now he has Jet stuff. So.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. I can get behind that. Hey, listen, I went from Brett Favre being my most hated athlete of all time to I am a Brett Favre fan after he came to Minnesota and played good for us for a short time. So
yeah, makes sense.
I get that.
I said before, I'm a Kobe guy, but LeBron came over to the Lakers, so I'm not a LeBron fan, but like I root for LeBron because he's on the Lakers.
But see, that's rooting for a team. I can respect rooting for the team. Rooting for a player, not a fan of it. That's cowardly.
Come on, man.
Honestly.
See, you become. I don't know if I could. I don't want to put words in your mouth, Aaron, but for me, with the sports betting, it kind of goes hand in hand. Like I didn't know who Mikal Bridges was until I started winning money off of him, and now I have a Mikal Bridges jersey. I wear it all the time. So
I don't blame you. I mean, if he puts money in your pocket, like why wouldn't you support him? You know?
Mikal Bridges, LaMelo Ball.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Joe Kick. I know he's playing against your team right now, but that guy is unreal.
I hate that guy.
But it's unreal watching.
As you should.
Yeah, I get it.
He's like he's the best player in the world. Like the things that he does is insane, and also his personality is hilarious.
He doesn't even like basketball. I don't think
it's an inconvenience for him. There was an interviewer the other day that asked him if he did anything fun the past 2 days. He was like, no. I sit in my room and I watch Pokemon for 5 hours. I'm like, that's me.
That's what we should all aspire to do.
Right. He just wants to go back to his homeland and raise his horses. That's it.
That's great.
I saw a great tweet today as the game was going on. Like the Lakers plan on playing defense on Jokic by just telling him about the current horse races going on in Denmark. It's like they'll just have his attention the entire time. It's like, oh shit, tell me about this. Just lose the ball.
They should probably do that because they're getting smacked right now.
Oh, are they? It was like a 12-point game when we started this interview. So
it reached like 20 at one point.
Oh, well. Yeah. I picked the Nuggets to win the title last year, so I was feeling very good about that. In hockey, I'm an Avalanche fan, so kind of Colorado synergy there.
I've never like sat down and been able to get a team. Like I just bet on it, and I'm just like, oh, shoot it! I need more shots.
Yes,
that's a bad habit right there. Aaron, that's a bad habit. I'll do that like with baseball, and it's it's not great.
Dude, but playoff hockey is amazing.
Oh, it's the best. Yeah,
it's so good. I'll sit and watch that for sure.
Yeah,
Lakers are only down 9 right now. We're good.
By the way, everyone watching, we're not endorsing or gambling here on the show or telling you to go out and waste your money on these things.
Bet responsibly.
But, absolutely gamble responsibly. But it is fun. I mean, if you're okay with losing a little bit of money here and there. Or maybe winning a lot. I don't know. That's the fun of it, right?
Yeah, sure.
Getting excited.
I don't know what that is, but sure.
Yeah, right. All right. So speaking of money and making a lot of money, maybe for even no reason, kind of like gambling, celebrity influencer fights. I know you're a watcher of these because I see you tweet about these also. I don't see a whole lot of people in our space that like, I recognize when people are watching some of this stuff. What are your thoughts on kind of like what you saw during the whole like Logan Paul, Dylan Dennis, KSI, Tommy Fury, kind of that whole Misfits show, I guess, in general recently?
I mean, I've watched pretty much all of like the Jake Paul and Logan Paul fights just because they're interesting. Like they know how to sell fights. This one with Dylan Dennis sucked. Dylan is the definition of a keyboard warrior. Can I cuss?
Yeah, you can say whatever.
He talked all that shit for months, and he goes in there and he's like this for 6 rounds? He landed 9 punches. What are we doing? That was awful. That's like one of the times that I rooted for Logan because that was pathetic. Like in general, they're entertaining. Like I love seeing poor Ben Askren. I love seeing him go in there and he just gets clobbered, in round 1 or 2, whatever it was. Or Nate Diaz go in there and he throws slaps in boxing gloves. Like that's so entertaining. But when a dude like he just talks and talks and talks and then he just doesn't back it up. He doesn't fight,
Yeah.
and he's still talking online. He's like, "Oh, you didn't knock me out, bro."
Yeah, and it's carrying over to the WWE now. I saw that last night on Raw. Logan cut a promo that included him talking about Dylan being cut from Bellator. So like now this is like bleeding into WWE somehow. Yeah, it's all. I mean, and then Dylan also. I mean, he did more fighting after the fight ended. He swung and whiffed on a security guard. I mean, it's just such an embarrassment.
He's a clown.
Yeah,
That's all
clown.
I got.
I mean, I don't know if you got a chance to see, rest in peace, Aaron Carter. I don't know if you got a chance to see Aaron Carter box, but I would take Aaron Carter in a boxing match over Dylan Dennis, I think. That guy was such an embarrassment.
I think I saw a clip of him on Twitter when he did that, but I didn't sit and watch that one.
Yeah, it was tough. He boxed Lamar Odom, the NBA player. It was like a complete, just a complete mismatch.
That's another weird thing. Like you got Nate Robinson and Le'Veon Bell and like all these like athletes jumping across. It's weird.
It is. It's very bizarre and very off topic as well. I just wanted your thoughts on that because I see you tweet about it also. So thank you. Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, Nate Robinson became like the original celebrity influencer meme with how he got knocked out in that fight. Unfortunately,
he was one of like the first major athletes, I think, to kind of do that, right?
Yeah, it was like that was like the intrigue because we'd seen it before with guys like Herschel Walker and stuff, and like combat sports, but like the thing with Nate was the intrigue of kind of the idea of like Jake Paul up to that point had only fought other influencers, and it's like how could he do against like an actual professional athlete of like any kind, right? Like a former NBA player, and he slept him. Yeah,
it's not the same.
Yeah, different for sure.
Yeah.
Would you have any interest in fighting anyone for real?
I've been saying I did Muay Thai when I was 21 or something like that, so it's been a while. And it was like the most fun and most difficult thing I had done up into that point. I was learning, Pete Spratt?
Yeah.
I was learning from him. I was doing like one-on-one sessions with him, and he showed me off to Rodrigo Pinheiro, who's like the main dude. He was like, look how quick this dude's picking it up. I was like, oh, that's cool. I've always wanted to. I would have to actually train again because it's been a while, but I've always wanted to have an actual fight just to see. Y'all had Matt Mikowski on here.
Yeah, y'all wrestled each other. I know that y'all wrestled each other.
There's a reason for that. I wanted to test myself against, an actual MMA guy, and he thought I legit did jiu-jitsu. I was like, no, I just learned wrestling stuff and kind of implement what I see. So he thought I was like legit trained. I was like, no, I'm just good at pretending. I don't know. I've been DDT'd on concrete. I've been double stomped in the back of the head. I've been I don't know. I've been hit in the head so many times. I've never been knocked out. I've never been concussed. So I kind of want to just see. And I know saying that means the first shot I take in an octagon, I'll get slept. But I don't know. I would have to get healthy, obviously, first. Because I don't want to get in there and my knee buckles and then get my face destroyed. I don't know. We'll see. I want to, but I don't want to go in there half-assed,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's very understandable. That's cool though. I'd be super interested to see that happen. You're just talking about kind of like a highlight reel of the stuff that's happened to you. I also saw you, I think it was another Bryan Keith match I had seen where you took like a tiger driver to the outside.
That was the same match where he DDT'd me on the concrete, and I thought I split my skull.
That's right.
I mean, what does Bryan Keith have against you?
He said that I like to beat him up. Like, are you kidding me?
Doesn't seem like it.
I don't know. He's got something against me. He's jealous of my beard or something. I don't know.
Fair. Honestly, I'm jealous of it. So I completely understand that. You've Bryan Keith aside, because I assume he's maybe hit you the hardest. You've also been in the ring with a guy like Shane Taylor who hits really hard. But who has hit you the hardest in the ring?
Okay, so I have like a small list of who's chopped me the hardest. And I guess who has like forearmed / kicked me the hardest. Chops would be Gary J.
Okay.
He's one. Gino Medina is another one. And Mysterious Q and Kurt Stallion would be like my top ones. I think my pain tolerance kind of increased when I started doing death matches, so the chops started getting easier to take, if you want to put it that way. So I started to like not feel them as much. Kevin Blackwood forearmed the shit out of me when we wrestled. We wrestled at this place called VIP in Dallas, Texas, and it wasn't recorded, so technically we haven't wrestled, I guess. Yeah, he threw like the very first forearm and just completely rocked me, and I was like, yes, I love this. So I brought it back and we started going. Yeah, I would say he forearmed me the hardest for sure. In this past one, BK kicked me very hard in the corner. He did a little running drop kick in the corner. I started laughing because it was so good. I'm weird. I don't know. I enjoy pain.
That was a hell of a list, though. Gary J might have the hardest chops I've seen in person. Like, I've seen him live a few times. Sorry, what was that?
He leaves marks.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And his elbow, his finish is like an elbow to the head. I mean, that was like, it takes people out. I mean, I love guys who can get like so credible to the point where like just anything with their elbow, you're like, that could be it. You know, I love that.
Some type of strike, like a head kick. Yeah.
I love that.
I agree.
I assume you've been asked about this person before, but if not, I'll bring it up now. Did you know there's a bull rider named Aaron Mercer?
Of course I do. Did you know there's another wrestler up in New York? He's like a backyarder named Aaron Mercer.
Is there? Okay.
No, I didn't know about either of these other Aaron Mercers.
And again, I've told this story, but when I was choosing my name, my wrestling name, I had never heard the name Mercer outside of this video game called Prototype, which is where I stole it from. And then as soon as I got into wrestling, I discovered there's another Aaron Mercer in New York who's a backyarder, but I've been on AEW, so I can be Aaron Mercer more than him. I discovered the Bull Rider when I started YouTubing my matches. And then I discovered there's a Derek Mercer who's an announcer in Texas. There's a Zeke Mercer. There's a Trent Mercer. I just discovered there's a Miles Mercer, a Mason Mercer. Like, there's so many freaking Mercers now.
Shane Mercer.
Yes, who's arguably the best Mercer, depending on who you ask. He does.
You guys would match up. Have y'all wrestled each other before?
No,
that would be a good one. That'd be a real good one.
We were on the same show early on in my career in California for SoCal something, but he was like, he wasn't cleared to wrestle because he had like a death match or something the night before, so he came in with like a bandage on his head. But he's much shorter than I am, but he's very much stronger than I am. He could probably do that little backflip thing with me, and I'm
the moonsault and battery. Oh yeah, man. That's nuts.
It's wild.
Have you had any interactions with the bull rider Aaron Mercer? Have you just messaged him, be like, "Hey, asshole, can I have my name back?"
No, he probably exists. That's probably his actual name, so I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, you stole my name that I made up." Like, no.
Just go for it, just for the bit of it, just to see what happens,
true.
just to see the response.
I have thought about, like, do I need to change my name because there's so many Mercers, or do I just say screw it and continue? And
I don't think the last name being so common is bad. Just when it's the exact same name, that's where it gets. Because I literally just Google Aaron Mercer, and the first one is you, by the way. It is you.
Yes.
But then the second one on Instagram is the Bull Rider.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure you've been asked this before, but I got a new audience.
Not about the Bull Rider. I've been asked about how common the name Mercer is, but not about the Bull Rider yet.
Okay, well there we go.
Yeah,
We'll get
you're the
some.
first.
All right, there we go. You mentioned you're being in AEW. What was that experience like?
It was cool. The first time, so I did my Evolve tryout or whatever with Sean Dean, who has a very prominent role in AEW, and I was on, or they were in, I think, San Antonio, a couple years ago, and I was like, hey, y'all are in my backyard, can you hook me up? And he was like, yeah, we'll bring you in. It might not be anything, but we'll get you in. And on that one, I just sat in catering and ate food and enjoyed the show. There was crazy Texas talent. There was it was Moonshine Mantell, Fly Def, Chandler Hopkins, Will Allday. There was all these dudes just chilling back there in catering. Like none of us got used. We were just all like sitting at the table, just enjoying the show. And then the next time they came, they were in some place outside of Dallas, and Sean hit me up, and he was like, "Hey, we're gonna bring you in again." I was like, "Sweet." Wasn't expecting to do anything. Was in catering again with some of the other talent, and somebody came running up, and they were like, "Hey, your name's on the board." It's like, what? So I went sprinting down the hall, and they have that little board where they write all the matches and segments on, and the Ass Boys versus Aaron Mercer and Masada. I was like, what? Which was, it was like weird because me and Masada were having a death match like the next month. So it was like weird that we were teaming together, and somebody was like, hey, Tony sees everything, so he might have did that for a reason. I was like, there's no way he saw a little flyer from Laredo. But yeah, it was cool. The Guns were like, I think only like 8 months in at that point, so I was their vet technically. But yeah, they were super cool. They're easy to work with. I've been on a couple shows with them at TWC. I was like, hey, I don't know if you remember, y'all squashed me in like 2 minutes on AEW. They're like, oh, okay. Yeah, it was cool though. I'm not the most like extroverted person, so I didn't go up to a bunch of people and introduce myself or anything, but I got to stand there while Moxley and Masada talked to each other, so that was cool. Moxley's exactly how you think he would be. He is who he is. So yeah, it was cool.
You go up when Moxley and Masada are talking, and just if you're already bleeding, Moxley probably just walking in like, "Hey, one of us."
I should have busted myself open right there. Just start hitting myself in the head. Yeah. Next time.
Just walk up to him with a gusset already just in you somewhere.
Yeah.
Just,
always in the head.
In the head. Sorry,
yeah, always go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
fair.
I want that good color,
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Moxley's bringing that world into AEW. Like he took the skewers, and like people really freaked out because they were so not used to seeing that. Yeah, that was wild. Did you get any advice from like anyone else while you're at AEW? And do you have any like, if you want to put out there like any goals you might have, like when you come back from injury, if you have any goals for like returning to AEW or working maybe anywhere else?
So again, like I said, I'm not very extroverted, so I didn't go up and introduce myself and make connections like I should have, because that's what Ricky Starks told me to do. He was like, hey, nobody ever remembers the extras, so make sure they remember you. Like, go make connections. And I only talked to like a few people. I didn't talk to too many people. I could have said hi to Jamie Hayter. She was getting coffee right next to me. I didn't say anything. I could have said hi to Bryan. He was he like walked right in front of me. I didn't say anything. For some reason, me and Trent always like locked eyes every time I was there, and we like locked eyes, and he'd be like, "Hey." Hey,
that's the funniest person for that to happen with too. He's probably the most awkward.
Yeah, he seems like he's probably really cool, but I'm just like, I'm so like in my own shell that I don't want to find out, you know. Yeah, so that was the advice that I got that I didn't, implement. Uh, whoops. But yeah, I don't know. As far as coming back, it kind of depends. Like I'm trying to figure out what I even want to do when I come back. I don't know. I don't know if I want to keep doing what I've been doing and flash my nipples to people and get them to chant it or whatever. I don't want to pigeon myself in like a comedy thing. I don't know if I want to come back and just go back to old school Ring of Honor stuff and just beat the crap out of people and have a scowl on my face. I don't know if I want to like be a character and make cool videos, which sounds great. Because everything Bray Wyatt did like was so captivating. Like even if he just sits there and talks in circles, I'm just like glued. Because especially on the indies, every promo is I'm gonna wrestle this person on this date at this promotion and I'm gonna win. I hate it so much. So it would be so cool to just be like a character and make these out there videos and do something interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you have a whole kind of like reset opportunity with like your return, and you got time off. You can cook something up. You can start filming stuff.
Trust me, I have too many ideas. Like I am all over the place. It sucks. So I don't know. So like if I were to go the Ring of Honor route, obviously I'd want to have a shot at getting signed by Ring of Honor or maybe AEW or whatever. But I'm like so into storytelling right now that I've always kind of said, which again, who am I? I'm nobody. Like I shouldn't even be talking like, oh, I don't want to go here, I don't want to go there. But if it happens, like I've always kind of said that WWE doesn't really interest me, but that is the place for the best stories. Like between the bloodline, between weekly television, like they tell the best stories. AEW is great for like banger matches. WWE's like storytelling, weekly episodic television, and that is kind of what I'm into right now, like in my headspace. Because having banger matches is fun and everything, but that can get super repetitive. So I don't know. I have a lot of time to think, and it sucks, but here we are.
The last question I got for you, and it's a little off topic, but like I just wanted to ask you while I had the chance, because I know you're saying you're not sure exactly what you're going to do with the return and kind of what matches and kind of what you want to put yourself through, but you put yourself through a lot with the death matches. I mean, and like I guess just in general, what is your line of thinking on? Because I cover a lot of death matches, but I also understand the fan base that like doesn't watch them or isn't interested or it freaks them out. Like, what's kind of your mindset of like wanting to do death matches, and then like I guess just your experiences doing them, and is it something where like if you never had another death match again, like you'd be totally cool with it, or like is it something that you're like yeah I guess all right, you just answer the question for me, I guess.
Yeah, I've even kind of said like I'm retired from death matches. If the right person comes along or the right like circumstances, I'll do one. But I never said I wasn't gonna stop doing hardcore matches. Like,
right.
I'm still doing hardcore matches, obviously. I just don't want to do glass and gussets and barbed wire. Yeah, I'm good on that.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
Right now,
But they were fun to do, like to experience. That was a fun year and a half run.
Got a lot of great reactions. We're some good companies.
Yeah. There was a lot more stuff that was supposed to happen that got canceled, whether it be COVID or other reasons. I don't know. Yeah, there was a lot more that was supposed to happen.
Gotcha.
That was a big one. I'm looking for scoops here.
There was supposed to be a no peace show in Florida I've never wrestled in Florida. There was supposed to be a no-ring show in Brooklyn. We got to Brooklyn, and then there was a COVID outbreak while we were there, so the show got canceled. There was supposed to be a tournament in Indiana, which I was supposed to go very far in, which would have gotten me some good, publicity or whatever. There's been a few things that have fallen through.
Our last one for you here that we ask everybody, and you kind of gave us a preview off air that I don't know if you even realized you did it, but the coolest thing in your room.
Oh, it's not even these. So this is Thor. That's basically me. Here's a Dundee.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is the Dundee
Obviously.
for? Is it for anything specific?
No, I think there's candy in it.
Okay.
I
don't know if it was the tight ass award. Yeah.
Like the actual, yeah.
Yeah.
The
I
actual,
wish. No, there's like a World Market store that was just selling these. I think they're like Altoids or something. Cherry flavored candy. There you go.
Oh.
Nice.
So I was like, oh, I need a Dundee. There's that balloon on the wall right there.
What is this?
So I had my son for the summer, and we went to another kid's birthday party, and so naturally my son brought back balloons, and he wanted me to hang that one on the wall. And so whenever he went back to his mom's, I asked him, what do you want me to do with that balloon? And he said, keep it there forever. So it's been there ever since.
I respect that. I appreciate that. That's tremendous.
As far as the coolest thing, I would say is what I just got today. Hold on, this is also for my kid, but he won't get it until Christmas. It's a giant Gengar.
Nice.
That's Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that a Squishmallow?
It is.
Okay, we've had Jerry Padower, the chief brand officer of Jazzwares, on this show who makes those. I see those all the time now. Ever since he talked about those, I see those in the malls and they're those things are cool. They're huge. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
Jerry Padower will love. I'll clip this and send it to him. Like he will love seeing that there's more people representing Squishmallows here on the show.
Nice. Yeah, I saw it at GameStop today. And Gengar is one of my son's favorite, and I couldn't remember if he had it or not, so I just got it just in case. And turns out he doesn't, so that'll be a cool present for him. Yeah.
Dude,
Gengar and OG Pokemon as well.
Yeah.
Like any of the original 150, and I guess 151. Like I can remember those. They got all these new ones that my kids are into. I don't know any of them. Like
they stopped trying to be creative. Like they have one that looks like a candle. They have one. They have one that it's just like a box. Like they're not creative anymore.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know any of these. Like we got to get back to the original 151 because these new ones are tripping me up. Not having it.
Yeah, GameStop's got some good stuff at the moment. I was just gonna say I was in there the other day and I found the whole Lucha set of like Ultimo Dragon and Black Taurus and like all those in GameStop the other day. They're sweet. So cool. They got some. If you're a wrestling fan, you see this. Like, don't sleep on GameStop. They've actually had some stuff lately. So
absolutely,
Aaron, we appreciate you joining us tonight, man. Really enjoyed this conversation, and look, you're welcome back anytime, especially if we're just gonna talk sports and not wrestling. Although we like wrestling, but also it's nice to take a break from the wrestling. Where can everybody find you at?
So yeah, I was actually gonna ask y'all for something too.
Sure.
So. On Twitter and Instagram at Real Aaron Mercer, because I'm the real Aaron Mercer, not anybody else. And then as of today, Twitch.com/Real Aaron Mercer. I don't know. I'm not like a streamer guy or anything. Like I don't know how to be that, but I think it would be entertaining if I go back and watch some of my old matches and roast myself. So being that y'all have a show, do you have any suggestions for like what would be like good mics? Or like I'm using my laptop right now and obviously this camera is not great. Do I need a certain camera? What's the best way to have like my chat on there at the same time with the match playing and my face like reacting? Like I need help here.
Yes, I think Jerry would probably be able to help a bit, and then also I know you've wrestled him before, but I don't know how well you know Cole Radrick. He's been doing a lot of streaming lately,
Oh,
and
I love Cole. Yeah.
yeah, he'd be a good guy to hit up because I know he does a
True.
lot of streaming in his off time, and he probably sets it up exactly how you're looking to set it up.
Okay. I mean, I would hit up Effie, but he's very busy and hardly replies.
Yeah, Cole's got nothing going on.
Yeah, Cole doesn't do
absolutely not.
anything. No,
He's a
Cole-
loser. No, yeah.
Yeah. Cole's just trying to steal corn from the AEW catering, or no, he's afraid to eat the corn in the AEW catering. That's
Yeah.
what
Is he really? No.
Yes, yeah, we heard a whole
that
story
was
about that.
yeah, we had Matt Brannigan on, and they were at the catering. And Brannigan, he teams with Megabyte Ronnie. He goes out, he'll eat all this shit.
Yeah.
And Cole was apparently just like, oh yeah, I want to get the corn, I want to get the corn, I want to get the corn. And Brannigan's like, well, just go get it. And Cole didn't go get it. And then finally, when he got back and he was willing to go get it, they were all out of the corn.
That's amazing. Cole's so he's great.
Yeah, if you can hit up Cole, but shoot me a DM on Twitter. I just started following you. Shoot me a DM. I'll help you out with anything you need. Message me anytime, and I'll try.
We can link the Twitch
yes,
like
100%.
URL down here too. If you already have it set up, we can put it in the description of the video so people can click on it and go like follow you and everything over there.
Yeah. I actually tweeted it out earlier.
Perfect.
All the links will be below, regardless. So the Twitter, the Instagram, the Twitch. So everybody can click those links, even if you have not started streaming or anything yet. For people who will maybe hopefully watch this, 6 months from now or something, they will be able to click that link. But yeah, message me. Just shoot me a DM on Twitter, and I'll kind of tell you my setup, and if I need to troubleshoot anything with you, got no problem doing that.
Cool, I appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you, man. Thank you again, Aaron. We really appreciate you joining us here. And guys, again, you can support Aaron. Check out the links below, and we will be right back here on the Spotlight.